get into it. Beyond the Scoreboard.
Go beyond the scoreboard.
Welcome back once again to Beyond the Scoreboard, where the game ends, the conversation begins. I'm your host, Effie James, and as always, we're bringing you the stories and the people who shape our communities through sports, education, leadership, and life. Now, before we get started, I wanted to recognize our sponsors. I have not been doing a very good job of that lately. This episode of Beyond the Scoreboard is brought to you by the OH Report, the leader in live streaming high school sports coverage in North Central Ohio. Brian Skoronsky and the team bring the best games and contests right to your home and your devices. And they do it all live and free. So check them out this fall. We truly appreciate their partnership and helping us bring these conversations to you each week. We are also, by the way, brought to you by 2 Sticks of Butter, Terry's Home Kitchen. Let Miss Teresa James take care of your sweet tooth with her custom desserts, cakes, and pies. Visit 2sticksofbutter.com and order online today. That's the number 2, stxobutter.com. You'll be glad you did. Now, every coach remembers certain players, not just because they made big plays on Friday nights or because you could see something in them long before anyone else did. That's the real reason. But leadership, character, a love for the game. Today's guest is someone I've had the privilege of watching grow over many years. I coached him as a high school athlete in both football and basketball. And now years later, I'm honored to welcome him back, not as a player, but as a new head football coach. It's his first opportunity to lead a program of his own. He's stepping into a community that is passionate about football. Has proud traditions of its own. Today we'll be talking about leadership, building culture, earning trust, and what it means to guide young men both on and off the football field. I am proud, honored, excited, but most of all proud to welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard the new head football coach of the Lexington High School football program and my former star pupil, Mr. Jacob Owens. To Beyond the Scoreboard. Coach, thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate it, bro.
Thanks for having me. Coach.
I think this has been, you've been coaching now for, altogether you've been coaching for a while, but it seems kind of weird for me anyway. Now I'm starting to see more and more of my former players now living their life. They're getting into their careers. They're getting into their profession. Some of them are coaching. Some of them are professionals and a lot of other things. But you spent the last, now this is year 4 for you at Lexington. Yeah. And most of that you've been serving as offensive coordinator. Yeah. Now you're leading the entire program. What has that transition, that journey, should I say? What has that journey been like? Going from, I know you spent some time coaching at Mansfield Senior, your alma mater, and you moved to Lexington and became really, you took a real prominent role as an offensive coach and really put your print. As I watched some games, you could see your footprint or your handprint all over the offense there at Lexington. But talk about your journey as an assistant coach to now leading the program. What's that been like?
It's been kind of crazy to think I started coaching high school football almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
I started at Mansfield Senior as a quarterback coach and offensive coordinator at Mansfield Senior. Coached there for 6 years. Had a lot of success, a lot of fun coaching under Chuck Bradley. He taught me a lot. And like you said, it's my alma mater, so it was pretty special being there, being able to coach them and be there for them. And then my transition to offensive coordinator at Lexington was nothing short of a miracle, really. My stepson played at the time at Lexington, and they needed an offensive coordinator. So he kind of joked with me like, "Hey, do you know somebody at the house?" One spring, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I can make that happen." So I sat down with Coach Saris, and he met with me and saw my vision. And from that day forward, he just knew, you know what I mean, that it was something special there, and we could build something special together. And we did just that.
Yeah, the offense is something that is, it's unique for high school football because it's I think. I don't know the word to use, but I think I'll use the term labor intensive for an offensive coordinator because it is you really the execution for an offensive, and I don't want to offend defensive coaches and all of that, but I will say this, one guy makes a mistake offensively and that could blow the entire execution of a play, whereas defensively one guy messes it up, one guy makes a great play, and you can make a great play. So offensively, it's labor intensive to be an offensive coordinator, and that execution, as you well know, is so important. But now, as head coach, you having such an extensive offensive background, and we're seeing this more and more in higher levels of football and college and pros. Guys that specialize in offense, but now you're moving into a head coaching role. Sure. How has it changed your perspective now to now lead a program with you've had an offensive perspective now to have to take the head coaching role? What does it look like now for you to now be in charge of now the offense and, so to speak, the defense? I know you have a defensive coordinator, but at the end of the day, if the defense makes a bad play, they're still going to be looking at you. Right. How does that change your perspective on how you lead now?
So I'm going to continue to lead with love, you know what I mean, and toughness. Even with my coaches, those guys know I love them as well, but I'm going to hold them accountable as well too, and be tough on them. So nothing really changes that much, Coach, honestly. The perspective of it for me kind of changed a little bit. To be able to know the defensive scheme, right? Yeah. I didn't have to do that before. I just focused on offense and scoring points. Right. But now I got to focus on the defensive scheme, the special team scheme, making sure scout team guys are getting reps, making sure the JV team feels prepared, making sure empowering my coaches to do different things. So I'm really going to lean on my staff the same way Coach Saris did with me, right? He really empowered me to be the head coach of the offense. So I want to do the same thing with my DC. He's a young guy. I'm going to empower him, you know what I mean, to be the head coach of that defense. But I'm also going to have my input, right? If I have a question or I want to know the answer to something, I'll ask. You know what I mean? But I don't want this to be a Jacob Owens show. I want it to be we over me, you know what I mean, coaches included. So I think as long as we keep that at the main focus, we'll be just fine. You know what I mean?
And how was that? Was it difficult for you to learn more defensively about the defensive schemes and how the schemes worked? I know you know so much about offense. How difficult was it for you to learn more? And I know you're still picking it up. How was that? How is that?
I'm humble enough to say that I don't know it all. But I do know, like I joke with my DC, like I know how to attack a cover four. You know what I mean? I know how to stop it, but now I have to help you stop an offense. You know what I mean? In cover four or a stunt or a blitz or whatever. So the biggest thing too is like learning verbiage. Right? Like it's football, right? But knowing our verbiage, what we call things, how we communicate, that's the biggest thing. So we're all on the same page. But like I said, man, we got some good turnover with our coaching staff. A lot of guys are back with us, which is truly a blessing. This late in the game, having that continuity as a coaching staff is really big for us. So we got a really good staff that's been working hard. But to answer your question, like I'm gonna lean on my staff. You know what I mean? I'm gonna lean on those guys that kind of help me out, and I'm still gonna have that football, that offensive perspective. You know what I mean? That'll never go away. But I do have to learn some things, and like I said, I'm humble enough to know that I'm willing to learn.
So, you are, as a quarterback, I think, and not just the quarterback. You have, have always been a captain, a leader, a guy who has been someone who teammates look to for leadership in your sports career, and on football and basketball, in all sports, really. How did those experiences, kind of shape where you are right now? And I know we were just talking a little bit about how things kind of seem seamless for you right now. Are you in your natural element?
I think so.
Right now.
I mean, I honestly think that coaching is my calling. God placed me in these various situations for a reason. You know what I mean, to help fill a gap. So I feel like I'm in my natural environment. I love coaching. Like I love coaching football. I love coaching kids. I love teaching. I was in education for my career for a while. I'm still in education. It's just a different avenue now. So I do. I love coaching, coach, and I think being a head coach is has its challenges, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love it. You know what I mean? Because I'm a player's coach. I like to build relationships. I have them to my house, right? We eat pizza together, we joke together, but we also get after it. Like I said, I want to lead with love, you know what I mean, but also have that toughness as well. So I think, like I said, man, I'm just a coach, man. I just love coaching.
Yeah. And one of the things that I had to do, and I think most coaches that I've talked about, their own identity and how they had to build their own identity. And they felt like it was so important for them to build an identity. And since you've been there now for a while, the kids know who you are. And you kind of have your own style. And how would you describe your coaching philosophy? And to those and even some Lex fans that they know you, but they don't necessarily know your coaching philosophy. How would you describe what your coaching philosophy is?
That's easy. It's 3 words: fast, physical, and discipline. We've been doing that ever since I got to Lexington. That's something that we want to live by. It's kind of funny, cool story. We had our parent meeting, right? And our parents are in there, and I have a slideshow, and every slide, fast, physical, discipline's on there. And it came up that the expectation for the parents is to be fast, physical, and disciplined. You know what I mean? I want them to parent that way. I want them to love their kids that way. So I want that's our culture. I want everybody to buy into our culture. That's our motto we live by in Lexington football. So just playing fast, physical, and discipline on every rep in the weight room, right, Coach? In the film room, be fast, physical, and disciplined. Whatever that looks like, we want to embody that. So that's an easy question. That's our motto. That's who we've been, and that's who we want to continue to be.
I think the thing about the philosophy, and I love that you said that is something that's already in place. It's already in culture. It's the culture, and that's such a benefit that you don't have to try to construct that.
Right.
And I think it's so important that you have that, because your players know where you're coming from, and it kind of leads every drill, everything that happens because this is our culture. So you don't have to be, students and kids aren't surprised by how we drill, how we practice, how we train, how we do things, because this is the culture that we've already established. And that's cool, man. That's cool. Now, one of the things, though, and I wanted to ask you about this, because this is something that I've seen other coaches, and I think I experienced it too. Being an assistant coach for a while, for a bit of time before you become the head coach, sometimes it's a benefit because the kids are familiar with you, but sometimes it comes with challenges too.
Sure.
What has there been any, what has been the benefits versus the challenges of being, an assistant, and then now, rather quickly you come into being the head coach? What has been the benefits versus the challenges of that?
We'll always start with the negative first, right? So I think the biggest challenge is that relationship piece, because I am a player's coach, right?
Yeah.
So like having that relationship with, say, Johnny, right? Me and Johnny have that relationship, and now I'm the head coach. So me and Johnny, we can't joke around like we used to. You know what I mean? Or I can't go off during defensive practice and go watch film and do different things.
Right.
So I have to have that accountability piece as well. But at the same time, I think there's no really big challenges, man, unless you make it. You know what I mean? Coaching is what you make it, man. So obviously there's going to be some things that come across your table that you got to take care of. You know what I mean? And you got to hold your coaches and your kids accountable. But if you love coaching, you love kids, man, it's a profession for you, right? Like that's
sure.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Sure.
So like the biggest thing for me is, like I said, the continuity and the kids knowing me. They know my voice. I've led meetings before, so that was the positive, is that they know my message. They know Coach Owens loves the kids.
Right.
They know that I want them to be successful, and we've built that culture at Lexington where we're gonna be tough on you, all right, but we're gonna pick you up too. You know what I mean? We're gonna make sure that you know you're loved.
Yeah.
After being kicked down, because we're gonna get after you now. We're gonna hold you accountable, right? Because you want to win, but at the same time, it's got to be about bigger than football.
Yeah. You know, the last, here recently, it's been tremendous amount of change and with the tragedy of Coach and again, my condolences to his family, and I know that was a really tough and is a very tough situation for all involved: family, Lexington community, athletic community, school community, and everyone. And you and I were talking a little bit about the challenges that come with continuing to coach and that. How have you and your coaches and continued to support the players and getting them through this period of healing and yet still competing, especially this time of year?
Yeah, it's a delicate situation that we have. Obviously, a very tragic situation occurred about a month ago, and we rallied around each other. It's a continued support, I would say. Right? It's not going to stop, never going to be over. It's really just starting, right? But we're rallying together as a coaching staff. We meet weekly. Check on each other. Got a buddy system. Right?
Yeah, nice. Nice.
Check on each other, make sure we're good. I talk to my DC almost every day since the situation happened. Just sticking together. We do small group with the kids, kind of check in, check out with the kids. We ask them, give us one high, one low for the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's something I kind of took from my job. You know what I mean? Because I work in the mental health field, which is really good because it shows young men that it's okay to talk to somebody. You know what I mean? You don't got to hold it in. You don't got to man up. You know what I mean? Manning up is talking to somebody.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that's the biggest message I want our kids to understand is men go through stuff, right? For so many years, and my dad taught me this as well, but it's kind of backwards thinking that you just got to get through it. You just got to man up and get through it. But you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? You can talk to other men. You can talk to other people and kind of understand that everybody goes through something.
That's good.
You know what I mean? So just having that conversation, having an open dialogue with the kids is what we want at Lexington.
Yeah, that's good, man. I like that. One of the things, and I know we live, Richland County is I often, in the company I work for in Cleveland, when they ask me about Richland County, and they kind of can't get the demographic of Richland County,
right.
and I kind of say, well, or Mansfield and the surrounding area. I say, well, think of it this way. We're kind of we're a rural community with kind of like I guess Mansfield would be the urban center of a rural community. I guess I don't know. But with that being said, you're making history, and I would assume be the first African American head football coach at Lexington, and I think when you hear that, and what does that mean to you as a person, and what do you hope that can represent for your team and the Lexington community as a whole?
Well, I take it as an honor Very humbled and blessed to be in this situation. I know the circumstances aren't what everybody thought they would be.
Sure, absolutely.
But I think that at the end of the day, it's still an opportunity.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I look at myself as a coach, you know what I mean, and a coach that loves the kids, that cares for our kids.
Yeah.
So I hope people understand that, you know what I mean, and look at this situation that I'm just stepping up and trying to fill a gap for our kids.
Right.
And bring the best quality of this season as we can, you know what I mean? So I think kind of like being a trailblazer almost in a sense. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool to do that as well. But yeah, man, I just hope people just look at the situation and say, you know what I mean, we gave it our all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got back up after getting knocked down. 'Cause that's life. You know what I mean? That's life. So
I love the way, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but I love the way you talked about how Coach Saris really, you felt like he was preparing you.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, you know, and to be honest, that's the job of a good head coach.
Right.
You know what I mean? His assistants, his coordinators, they should be empowered and they should be ready.
Yeah.
You know, and of course we don't, you know, nobody expected or wanted any kind of tragedy, but you know, you want your assistants to feel empowered and ready to seamlessly step in, and we all believing in the same vision. But all the same, you know, that is a great honor for you to step in and you know, make history and in that way culturally. And I think when we talk about cultural things in this community, I always recognize those facts, because I feel like the fact that we're still breaking those type of barriers in this community still means something.
Yeah.
And that's a credit to everyone, the decision makers and the people who are understand that that's still important. And, you know, number one, that you absolutely deserve the opportunity, you earned it. And number two, that it still means something. So, you know, I certainly want to recognize that. But, you know, Friday night, your Friday night identity, if someone watches Lexington football, and, you know, I've been a person that watched a lot of area football, and, you know, there has become, you know, certainly since you've been offensive coordinator, there is an identity that I think the Lexington football team has had. So I think this question might be a little bit redundant in that way. But what should the Lexington Minutemen fans expect from your team this year, this version of the Minutemen? What can they expect this fall from your team if they're coming out not really knowing what to expect? What should they expect from your team?
So obviously, after you lose a class like we did last year, there's a lot of question marks and unknown for the people not working directly with our kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's a great question. But I think we're going to play our brand of football. We're going to be fast, physical, and disciplined.
Love it.
You know what I mean? So I think that if you are outside looking in and what you want to expect or you think you're going to expect, just know that we're trying to play fast, physical, and disciplined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's our motto. That's what we live by. That's our culture. And it might look a little different this year.
Yeah.
It's going to look a little different this year because we, as high school coaches, get the kids that walk through our door. You know what I mean? And we got to kind of tailor our offense, tailor our defense to the personnel we have. We don't have a Joey Cardell anymore. We don't have Braden Fogel, Sevin Allen, Avery Crawford walking through the door, Markel Martin. So we're going to run our offense. You know what I mean? We're going to run our stuff. But at the same time, it's going to look a little different, a little tailored to our athletes and what we got. But our standard, man, is our standard.
Love that.
I know it sounds cliche, and we might lose some games. You know what I mean? But we're going to play our way. I want people to walk away from the game thinking, oh, they gave it their all. They tried their best to play fast, physical, and disciplined. They're going to fly around, and if you're going to make a mistake, go 1,000 miles an hour. Yeah. And then we'll coach it up on Saturday.
I love that. I love that. You know, I want to talk, you know, on the personal side a little bit, you know, about, you know, balance. And I always, you know, when I have coaches in, I always make it a point to talk a little bit about that. You're you know, you are you're a husband now. You are you're a dad now. What is it? 2-3 times over now?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I'm getting old. So, you're a therapist, as you mentioned. You're a professional and a coach. And that takes balance, man. How do you maintain? What is what tools do you use? Well, how do you maintain the balance that it takes to be successful in all those areas of life that you have to do in order to be a good husband, be a good father, be a good professional, a good therapist, and yet still be the best coach you can be? What are some of the things that you do to make sure that you're your best in all those areas?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm not a therapist. Don't give me that title.
I say that because you work in mental health, so I give that blanket to everybody. To all of us who work in mental health, we get that blanket. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but that's a great question. It's hard. You know what I mean? Life is hard, and football is hard, right? So I try to tell our kids the same thing. Like, you got to find your coping skills. You gotta learn what works best for you. And for me, I work out. I go to the gym. That's something that really helps me, being active, getting that good sweat in. You know what I mean? Get my mind off the real world for a little bit. My wife is a rock star. She really helps me a lot. She's like my secretary. You know what I mean? She helps me a lot, and then she takes care of the girls, and she runs the home front while I'm at football. Just having that good support system. My mom is there, supporting me, helping me. My older brother helps me. So I kind of lean on my people, you know what I mean? Lean on my support system, but also making sure that I take care of myself as well. Get in the gym and take deep breaths.
Right.
Listen to that meditation music, you know what I mean? And take those little walks, or put my phone down and unplug for a little while. So those are different things, but I'm learning, man. It's head coach is a lot, you know what I mean? You got different things like media, you know what I mean, and different phone calls you got to take, and planning things, and getting snack bags ready, and just you know what I mean, all these different things you got to take care of, and you only get 24 hours in a day, right? You know what I mean? And 8 of those, you got to go to sleep. So I literally maximize every minute that I get, you know what I mean, and also talk to other coaches. Right? I talked to Choke Steele, I talked to Taylor Gerhardt, I talked to Coach Massey. Talking to those guys, and those guys that sat in the same seat I'm sitting in. It's nothing like talking to a guy that has been through the experience.
For sure.
What I mean? And then college coaches, I still got connections there, and that network. And the second I became a head coach, the tight end coach from Missouri hit me up, you know, and congratulated me and saying he was a high school coach before, and giving me little nuggets, you know what I mean? So I just try to take what I can take from other people and put it in my tool bag and go to work, you know what I mean? So, like I said, man, it's been a whirlwind the last month and a half, but we're taking it with stride. Taking it with stride.
Now, on the football front, I think, with, like you said, it's not easy. High school coaching is tough. It's the supporters can they can be sensitive, if I can use that term. They can be away, but they're supportive, and like you said, when there's a standard, you kind of want that. You know what I mean? I used to think that, man, this is just, it feels unfair. But then when I thought about it, I'm like, well, what if they didn't care about you losing games? How would you feel? You know what I mean? How would you feel if they didn't care if you were losing games? So, what does success look like for you? And not necessarily the wins or losses. In your first year, what does success, in your view, what should it look like or feel like? What will that look like at the end of this season, when you're doing your debrief for yourself, for your coaches? What will a successful season look like or feel like for you?
That's a good question. Just honestly, you want to reflect on your season, and you're going to have wins and losses. They come and go, right? But for me, the biggest measuring stick is, are we setting these kids up to become good young men? Are we teaching them manners? Are we teaching them how to be respectful, how to open the door, how to talk to people, shake a man's hand?
I love that.
Look those guys in the eye. Because that's all we're doing. We're teaching these kids how to be young men. Have we seen growth from little Johnny, right, from day one until November? Have we seen that growth? And if we say yes to that answer, we've done our job. You know what I mean? And I think the biggest thing for me is the biggest enjoyment I get, man, is having the older guys come back, right? Have those guys, those seniors come back to practice, and they come back around, and they're there supporting us, and they're talking about old times, and see them go off to college and play pros. Like, I got Angelo Gross. I talk to him still. You know what I mean? I coached him in high school. Cam Todd. You know what I mean? Talked to him just the other day. Worked him out just the other day. So, like, just seeing those guys, man, and just watching the growth of all my players, man. That's the biggest thing, because at the end of the day, in 10, 20 years, nobody's really going to remember the score of the game.
Right.
But they're going to have those memories, those core memories that you taught them as a coach.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Just try to learn and lean on that. The older I get, man, the softer kind of I get. You know what I mean? I would say, being a head coach, but like, just the memories, man, and seeing the growth of the kids.
I like that. You know, you've been around, you know, the sport and for a long time. And when I say a long time, I think I can remember you being, you know, I think you were a ball boy and even before you started playing. So you've been around for a long time. You know, when you think about, you know, in funny stories that some of your players may not know about, maybe even if in your playing days, what's maybe even a funny story that your players wouldn't believe about you, some of your playing days, something that may have happened for you or that included you from your playing days that your players may not even believe?
I would say probably the craziest story was over at Cliff Fork. I think my senior year. I was playing in a game, and we were winning 14-0, and I was running the football right up the middle on a quarterback trap or quarterback counter. And I separated my shoulder.
I remember.
Remember that?
I remember.
I separated my shoulder pretty bad. I got banged up, and
I remember.
And I grabbed my helmet and I went back out there.
I remember.
I told the trainer to put it back in. I popped it back in.
I remember.
I went back out. You guys gave me the play. I called the play. I got hit again. It came back out again, and I went back out there.
I remember.
And then my uncle Barry Lawrence had to come down and take my helmet, and take my pads, and say, "You're done." You know what I mean? It's bigger than this moment. So I remember that vividly. You know what I mean? I just didn't want to come out.
Yeah. I
wanted to help my team win, and that's a crazy story because it was my throwing shoulder.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I couldn't even throw a hitch or a bubble. Yeah. I was just trying so hard, and every time I got hit, it just kept coming out.
You know, your senior year, I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, and I remember the way I remember, like, they were like, he's not saying that his shoulder is out, but we know his shoulder is out. And I'm like, well, what do you mean his shoulder? You know what I mean? Like, I spent my entire career in the box, so I never knew what it was like on the field. So I'm like, well, what do you mean? I'm screaming at the people. I'm like, is his shoulder out, or is it hurt, or is it sore? What is going? And they're like, his shoulder is out, but he won't tell them that his shoulder is out. Yeah. And but yeah, man, I think to see some of the things and even your basketball season that year, when I became head coach, it was interesting because you were still dealing with the shoulder, and it was like my first year as head coach was your senior year, and it was. I still leaned on you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though, you weren't playing, it was like I was still leaning on you in your leadership. So I know, for you, that leadership is just in you and who you are. What I want to do is And like I said, I told you that I'm going to get you out of here because I know you're super busy, but I want to do a series of some rapid fire questions that I'm going to ask you. You just tell me what the first things that come to your mind. All right. So it's Friday night in Lex. You are at Ontario. And I don't want to say the players walk-up song. Let's say you got your own headphones in.
Sure.
What's your Friday night walk-up song in your head? What's your Friday night walk-up song that's playing in your headphones that you're playing on Friday night?
It depends on like what time it is. So like I can't get too pumped up. You know what I mean? Because like if I get too pumped up too early, like I'm gonna be out of it. So like early on, like if I'm just like chilling, it might be some worship music. Honestly.
I like it. That's a good one. Your favorite NFL quarterback of all time?
Michael Vick.
Favorite college football team?
Ooh, Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, the dogs.
Go Dogs.
I feel that. Which one of your assistant coaches is most likely to get roasted in the film room?
Ooh, that's a good one. Aiden Nickel. That's my guy, though. I love him to death.
All right, Coach Nickel. Are you a coffee or energy drink guy?
Energy drink.
My
wife hates it, though. I'm not a coffee guy at all.
All right.
I like the smell of it.
I get it. If you weren't coaching football at all, what would you be doing?
With my kids.
All right. That's a great answer. I put this one in myself. Better athlete in high school, you or the quarterbacks who are in camp right now for Lexington?
Oh, that's tough. I got to go with myself, though.
You do?
I got to go with myself. I love my kids, though.
I like it. I love it. All right. Favorite vacation destination?
Myrtle Beach.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Fill in the blank. Success is?
Hard.
Oh, man, that's good. Now, I coached you in football and basketball.
Yeah.
Which sport would you say I was tougher on you? And I didn't think I was tough on you at all. Which one was I tougher on you in?
Football, 100%. You're my offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, 100% football.
All right, man. Coach, look, I truly appreciate you being here, man. I know you're a busy guy, and I appreciate it. And I just want to say this, man. I am super proud of you, man. And I wish nothing but success for you and your football program. I know you're going to be successful because I feel like I know that you see the long-term you have a long-term plan, and that's always the right way to see things. But I also see that you have short-term winning aspirations. You know what I mean? Like when you were walking up, you were talking to your quarterback as you were coming. So I know you want to win now. Even though you got long-term aspirations, I know you want to win now.
It's a process.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a process,
Absolutely. So thank you, man, so much for sharing your leadership and your passion for your program and everything. So good luck to you, man. I appreciate you being here and taking the time for coming.